Peace, family. I'm in the park chilling. Two of my big brothers. We got Menetertep, P Vision. I want to ask them some questions in regards to religion and see where it takes black people and how can black people get ahead with religion, or are we better off without religion? So I'm going to ask a couple questions to my brothers and we're going to see. We're going to let y'all judge and see. Hold tight, big bros.
Hold tight.
I mean, we at the park. We on Swan Street, chilling, getting it in as y'all can see. Yo, Menetertep, I want to ask you a question. And in regards to religion, do you think religion is good for black people? Do you think it's something that we need, or is something that we should let go, or is it something that we should do research on?
I think the answer is kind of all of the above. And what I mean by that, I mean, ideally today's religion have done nothing but kept people stagnated and content to conforming and being taken control of, accepting it. Religion and spirituality is two different things. Let that be clear. Definition of religion means to slave and in bond. So people have to realize what they're enslaving and binding themselves to. You're slaving and binding yourselves to a belief, a doctrine that is a detriment and a contradicting and non-conducive to the betterment, productive growth, spiritual mind and body. So in that aspect, no, we don't need religion at all, because you can't practice religion, a certain practice, without knowing who you are, without having self-identity, knowing your culture, knowing your history, knowing your tradition. Nothing will happen. You will just remain stagnated, oversaturated with other thoughts and ideas, and you just become automaton. You become a church groupie. Religion, the practice of spirituality in the form of how religion is in America. You go to church, you have these practices, you pray, you do that. If we follow those critiquing with spirituality, yeah, then it can be good. It's being useful. But other than that, it's just a waste of time. But you have to know why it's so attracting to people. You know, we don't know who we are, where we come from, or the things that we've done. So when someone appeals something to you that sounds good and it's fulfilling at the time, because you're an empty bottle. You know what I mean? When you're an empty bottle, when you're yearning, you can fill that up with acid and you think you're good, but it's poison. So, I mean, research is needed in all aspects of life. You know, due diligence behind what we are learning and that which you're learning to put into practice to better yourself. That takes research, period. You have to do that. You can't be lazy when you're dealing with information or you're dealing with, you know, a certain practice that's going to better yourself. The self is important. You know, if self ain't right, then you ain't going to be right.
So what does religion have to do with self?
Religion has nothing to do with self. You see what I'm saying? Self and the betterment and growth of self doesn't need religion to happen. You know, we don't need religion to learn yourself, know yourself, and to master yourself. You know, religion can be a tool to help that process, but at the same time and token, is it needed or is it essential in that? No, not at all. You know, so yeah, you know, religion is not needed to develop self, and we can go in many different dynamics of that, but I don't think you don't even have to. If you know self and you know religion, you know those two things that, you know, you don't need that for. So.
That's right. Yo, Vision, what's your take on religion, bro? What you think?
My perspective on religion is that I kind of juxtapose the things that we actually do need, and we verify that we need it because that's what's going on in life right now. Religion, as told to us, came out of books. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. So with that being said, that gives somebody, you know, with an agenda, a colonizing agenda, if you will, the opportunity to take control of not just, you know, a group of people, but generations of groups of people. So if people took more time to understand why someone of Egyptian or Kemetic origin would say that they worship or they value the sun or air or water, what can you do without those three things? Try breathing without, for a certain amount of, try not breathing for a certain amount of time. You'll need that air. Try not drinking water for a certain amount of time. Your body will start, you know, decomposing on itself. And if the sun does not shine for one day, you'll see a dramatic change. That's what, you know, like, those are natural things. Now, as opposed to juxtaposing that to religion, I think it definitely needs research. It definitely needs study. People need to understand what's the difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality to me is like a young child growing up in search of just learning something. You know, they know how to read, they getting to study, and them opening up something like a Bible, which is a very religious book, if you will, and not having no guide to show them what's in it, but them figuring it out what they own with what they know. They'll come to a perspective of what's needed and what's not needed. There'll be like an automatic filter. So with that being said, it's just, you know,
I'm gonna get the elder. I gotta get the elder in here. Oh. I gotta get the elder in here because I just gotta get the elder. You know what I'm saying? It's the elder. We chilling. We in the park. Not too often that we get elders to speak. And the topic of religion, I definitely have to get your take on that, elder. Let the people know who you stand by.
I'm a musician, I'm a guitar player. My name's JC. Everyone knows me as JC. First of all, I just want to say, how do you spell religion? How do you spell it? Spell it out loud, if someone can for me. R-E, huh?
R-E-L.
No, R-E, read. Religion,
R-E-L-I-G-I-O-N.
G-I-O.
G-I-O-N.
Okay. You know what it sounds like? And it looks like, and you look at a quick fast, it's like real I. The real I, the real self is gone.
Oh.
You know, religion is regurgitated information, and what turns into a religion is because it becomes repetitive amongst the people. It's something that goes over, that's why I put a read. Do it over and over and over and over again. You know, like we religiously breathe over and in and out, over and over and over.
Now, do people believe in each religion set? Like, do they believe like I'm a Hebrew, my God is better than yours, cause you're a Muslim?
That is the gross matter. Which is the physical being, the physical flesh itself is talking. If you know there is only one supreme being, and he has different names because there are different languages. And people, like if you go to China, they'll say Quan Yi. They know that you're talking about referring to that supreme being, but they know it culturally as Quan Yi, that's the language. But to say that my God is better than your God, no. What you're really saying is my religion is richer or more powerful than your religion on the earth. You know, when it comes to God, there's only one God.
So is that European concept of religion new?
Everyone had, let's say we're Africa, let's start with Africa. Okay. Africa started having its own religious wars. For instance, you had the people who worship Oset or Isis. You had the people who worship Amun Ra. You had the people who worship Ampu. You had the people who worship Ma'at. So they were over the centuries, they've forgotten that these weren't gods, but concepts and understandings of how to conduct oneself. That's all they were. But then they started battling and made them to actual temples and different temple members, and they started coming out saying, oh, our God Ma'at is better than your God, and that all is foolishness. So it happened in Africa too. It happened in Europe, of course. It happened in many parts of the world, which is just how you say, it starts off as a seed, and it branches into a tree or bark, and then it branches off in leaves and fruits, you know, each one are different. The leaf and the fruit and the branch and the bark are different from each other and the root. But they all come from that seed. They all come from that same, and that's what you have to get to. And get to the simplicity, of things, rather than the, you know, the constant bickering and the obvious debating, you know, of religion, institutions. All religions, basically, the major ones, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they was established by the sword, by violent means.
So that's basically the religion that was given to us then. If those, to me, how I see it, if it's three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then that must mean those were the three religions that was handed to us, that was force-fed to us. So if we was force-fed those religions, and I say that because how come we don't practice Hinduism as a free spirit? Just, you know what, I'm gonna do Hinduism.
Right. I'm gonna answer that question.
So
you have the beginning of the cradle of civilization, Africa, the Nile. They did all the trade, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, gold. Everything was traded at that point. The Europeans, the Asians, the Arabs, all of them, different people from around the world came to Egypt because it was a very, very, very popular place at the time.
Yeah.
And they came there to study. They came there to trade. So you had Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikh, Jain, going more into the European and Asian areas. And then added on, of course, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. They all basically are splinters of each other.
yeah.
What makes a monarchy is you have to get rid of the God of the people. So they took this knowledge and went off into their own lands and developed their own people and started raising their own people up and testing newfound ideas on how to rule over other people on their own people. And then when they found they're confident enough, they went on to other lands when they built up their technology and their armies and things of that nature. And then, you know, they were forced there. This is our flag and this is our God and you will praise our God. Because if I got you on a spiritual tip, a mental tip, I'm gonna damn sure get you on a physical tip. Get you, I'm gonna capture you and you're done. So you have to force feed your religion upon people in order to rule over them.
All right, man. That's a good piece from the elder. I gotta get back to my brother Menetertep because I got a serious question. From your perspective, what do you feel is good, or what do you feel is needed or missing that's out here that our people need and is starving for? What do you think that is, beloved? And I'm gonna sum up the question as I'm gonna say, why do we act the way we act? Why do we walk around disrespecting our women? Why do we become lazy as far as not start our own businesses?
Let's
Go ahead, bro.
Let's go back to start with what do I feel is needed, and what was the other part too, so I can answer your question before.
What do you feel that is needed to help our people in today's time, and reasoning as to why we act the way we act?
Gotcha. Now, there's nothing new under the sun in regards to why we act how we act. That's a deep piece. That's what I specialize in. The reason why we act how we act is because we have been conditioned to so. And in doing so, there have been certain aspects of who we are that have been erased, alleviated, and hidden from us. So therefore, we conduct ourselves in a certain way, manner, shape, and form that is a contradiction and not conducive to what we are attempting to do. Now, what do you mean? I want you to shit sound nice. The condition we in now is what I call the manipulation of the body over the mind. The body has taken control over the mind, and the spirit is laying dormant, right? The body's taking control. What do you mean? If I can't taste it, smell it, hear or fuck it, it don't exist. You see what I'm saying? Now, I didn't make this up, right? So now, this is what's happening. So now, you have everyone on a day-to-day basis that's operating on impulses, desires, lusts, temptations, right? What is that? What is that? That's your ego. What is the ego? You hear this all the time. We all egotistical ego. Yeah, at the same time, this is true, but what is it? Well, you understand? The state we in, why we act, because it's psychological slavery. It has to be. We don't know what psychological slavery, but I'm telling you what psychological slavery is. It's called the manipulation of the body over the mind. Inquiry and Quapic syndrome. You see what I'm saying? In order to combat this and to heal ourselves from the disease, we got to know what it is. We got to know what's infecting us. You see what I'm saying? So now, follow me, right? Because this is why we are. See? So now, you got the manipulation of the body over the mind. The body is taking control of the mind through its impulses and senses and lack of, right? So now, what feeds off that? The five senses. Your five senses, is how the ego determines it experiences dealing with our reality and non-reality. You see what I'm saying? It's fed through the senses. Now, what's the brain of the ego? The subconscious. Hold on, let me break it down to you. This ego is the brain of the subconscious. You understand what I'm saying? So, and the mind is the operator of conscious. It's the same thing. You see what I'm saying? But how does this process work? Okay, now, let's back it up a little bit, then we're gonna go forward. The manipulation of the body over the mind. The body is taking control of the mind through its senses, the lack of. We are operating on a subconscious level. You got individuals who think they conscious or think they up or think they manifesting thoughts on their own, but they predetermined notions, they're false cues, false images that set all the way around in our music, our language, our talk, our behavior, everything is all there for you to act a certain type of way outside of you manifesting an internal thought to an action of your own fortitude. You see? So now how does this work? It's a part of the, you heard this saying, we only use 10% of our brain, right? They can say we only use 10% of our brain because it's their science that they condition us to use the 10% of our brain to control us. Now, what 10% of that brain, controls functions controls muscle functions and activity without intervention of consciousness. That part of the brain, the 10%, is the ganglia. You see the hypothalamus, part of self, the hypothalamus. Now, in dealing with the hypothalamus is connected to the spinal cord, and it has little mini brains called the ganglia. So now, for example, two examples. One example, you step on a nail. Automatically, I don't need to think to tell myself, oh shit, that's a stab, I need to move it. I don't need to put my hand if I put my hand on the eye, you know what I'm saying, by accident in the kitchen, I don't need to think and be like, oh, that's hot. Now, automatically, without intervention of consciousness, I'm like this. This is how we've been conditioned to act every day, day in, day out, to respond just like that, impulsive, reaction, every day, all day, every day, based on what? Our fears, our lust, our insecurity. You understand what I'm saying? What we want to taste, what we don't want. Now, one of the things that we spoke about that as being young leaders and aspiring to raise the dead, as we say, right? All right, okay, right. One of the difficult things is that, right, once we bring forth information, right, and the brother and the brother Joseph gave an analogy as far as how you can't give people too much, right? Because this is why you can't give them too much, right? And I'm gonna bring forth the analogy he said as far as bringing people out of the darkness into light, right? This is why you can't bring people too much, because we don't understand the cosmic dynamic that is taking place and the effect that it has on us. Just forget about the things that I'm saying. Now, there's a detriment. We've been hurt by that. We've been wounded. You understand what I'm saying? So now, when the healing comes, right? We've been so used to being over here, and all this pain, all this hurt, all this And so now when it's time for healing, positivity, growth, someone bring you forth information so that you can apply it to yourself, to receive understanding so you can comprehend it, to move in life to better yourself, this is what we do, right? What? That nigga crazy. I don't want to hear that.